Verge, a BA Honours Photography, University of Portsmouth, graduates 2016. That's fairly recent, and it's a nice size. And all just over 8 inches by just over 10. It's got a nice texture to it. I love it. It's almost like that, you know, when you get a school jotter book, when you're in like the infant school, no, when you're probably in the junior school, it's got that lovely texture to it. I like it. It's got a nice graphic imprinted onto it. Let's have a look. It's a nice size. I like it. It goes from the, you know, the standard zine size, often or the square format book. Anyway, BA Honours Photography, University of Portsmouth. Let's have a little skim through it. We've got index of the photographers and the page numbers. Introduction by Raul Peredians, the course leader. Interesting. Talking about study as challenging and rewarding experience. And I think the shape of, the changing atmosphere, climate of photography. Verge is a collaborative exhibition presenting the photography graduates from the University of Portsmouth about the diversity of the group and their links with professionals and their support and the help they've had, and outlining the actual show. So how does that link from the first one? Oh, right, it's just a repeat. Yeah, it's just a repeat. It's almost like a copy of the index in the front. All right. It's got a very matty feel to it. I quite like that. I do like the texture of this, and it's got that almost like a matte finish to it. Okay, so we've got some names here again, and we've got a nice bit of text which is introducing the student. Excellent. There's contact information for the student at the back. I like that. You could have probably put it there, but maybe not. We didn't want to clutter the pages up. Oh, I guess with some of the photographers, yeah, it's a bit different. Great. This is what I want. This is what I want to see. Text, pictures, give me some idea. And the fact that the photographers can almost take this with them to interviews and meetings, and you've given them some further mileage out of this. Let's have a look. Anka Iona or Lorna Purview. Class was the last generation graduates. Is it looking at her? I think it's looking at her old school, or it's looking at her. It's abstract interior shots of her school. Bradley Gale, Nature's Return. I explored the absence of nature in the city, aimed to make a city more colourful. Okay, so I guess it's post-production. Yeah, that's interesting. I like concepts where you can twist and think out of the box a little bit. Helen Cadell, Temptation, almost like a contact sheet. There must be something about the narrative and the fact that it's running. What is it? Project members with regard Genesis 1-3 introduces themes of sin, temptation and seduction on a man. I'm showing marks made by the practitioners during the work, showing the relationship between man and God. Interesting. Okay. Ben Dawes, Untranslated Landscapes, is a project depicting the feeling of not belonging to a place. Abstract. Minhaj Ahmed, Sanctuary. It's a nice shot, that. It's almost like a reverse haircut with a bun. Explores the psychology relationship we have with our hair. Quite deep, that. Taking clues from the commercial fashion beauty imagery, the hairstyle to create a sculptural form that can reflect the emotional state of the sitter. Okay. Looks like the art of the selfie here. In recent years, self-worth has become intertwined with the culture of consumption, where the face is no longer only source for physical interaction. Yeah, this work is created to provoke questions. Yeah, it's almost like a changing faces. We all look like aliens now with all the apps you can add to your face now. It's interesting, isn't it? Quite an interesting project. Now, I'd like to see more. Do you know? I think this is better suited to big pictures, no other than small. I get this, but it almost represents pixel dots as well. But I quite like to see a really nicely designed narrative structure of images and portraits. I think it's quite an interesting concept. Naomi Rebecca Holton, Are We Humanising Dogs? Simple concept. Yeah. Are we humanising dogs? Is this more about the dogs or what they're trying to wear? There's a coat and what they're trying to wear. It's a little bit sort of abstract. Anyway, Chloe Sterling, 472, is years as the walls of Sandsea Castle were built. Today the wall shows history and markings, layers. Okay, showing a sort of live wall in a sense, and use it as almost abstract. Interesting. I think that's really good because Chloe must spend her days looking at everything. Even, it's like looking at a tree ring and knowing that there was years to get to each ring, and that's it's saying that it's showing time and showing movement of time, and it's sort of like a marker in time. And this is almost, I get where she's coming from here, and I see that a lot with other things. Like I see a tree stump and I think, gosh, what was the time lapse before that tree was planted to this bit now? And with this way you can sort of see it, how time's evolved with something. It's really interesting. Natasha Katie Williams, Disruption. Disruption deals with a notice of disturbance which interrupts an event. Okay, I like this actually. I get what she's doing. She's using she's looking at crime and how people break the landscape, I guess, maybe in a way. I'm trying to learn about the different rates of crime around Portsmouth, using the crime map, and then using things where people like a smash window and maybe that's been broken off. I like that. I get where you come from. It's quite an interesting concept. What about colour? Doing it in colour? Why black and white? Interesting. Lana Philpott, my father was a football hooligan, but CCTV, heavily pixelated. Also a football club, I used my father's memories. I used the temporary vest with interviews on tribalism, national image. I think it's a bit of an abstract picture for this concept, but it's a nice, interesting concept. She uses her dad to go back to his roots in terms of where he was in the 80s and looking at stock footage and integrating it. And it's interesting. Elliot McRae, South Coast DIY, looks the thriving unknown music scene in is it the South Coast? Yeah, okay, interesting. Simon Cochran, Echo Lost. This looks like it's tilt focusing or a sort of shift on the aperture settings. Not sure what it's about. Victoria Smith, Sunday Shopper, examines local high street and its formation into a non-place. Yeah, I like that. That looks like, anyway, it looks like Folkestone actually. But yeah, I get that. That's an interesting concept. David Charles, Space Surface Light, looking at how light interacts with the landscape, I think. There's a bit more about how he does that. It might be worth a bit of investigation. Krasimira Butseva, Slices of Red, question the notion of indexicality in relation to the photograph regarded as a document of the real. The work explores personal and social memory in relation to identity and politics. It's quite abstract again. Christian Georgi, Thin Layers of Skin. The Layers of Skin is a series that seek to build a correlation between the digital age and death. Crikey. Daniel Allen, The Art, Man and Nature. In my practice, I'm inspired by the natural world that surrounds throughout my work. So there's a lot of post-production here. Okay, a bit of art and photography and post-production. Emma Durrant-Fellows, 100% leak-free. I thought it was something to do with tying. 100% leak-free, exposed to cultural concealment surrounding menstruation, stemming from a history of myths and taboos, from unrelenting exposure to advertisements. We're led to believe that for a woman on her period, the worst thing that could happen is to experience a leak, to lose control, to bleed, and to show blood. Okay, that's very deep. I'm not sure the connection with the pictures, but that could be worth an investigation. Amy Friend, absence, presence not required. Present occurred installation piece based around the absence of my father. Rebecca Concannon, nostalgia for her lost girlhood. Looks like a swimming pool, a mermaid. A bit deep again, not sure. Sarah Benstead Place. Deals with emotion psychology connections to a domestic place. Okay. Lucy Kerbisher, do our possessions define us? Okay. I'm not sure how strong these pictures are, but I get the context a bit deep in terms of, and interesting. I've seen people do this, but I'm not really sure the technical side there is all there. It's lacking a bit of quality, that. Sorry, Lucy. But if you're putting stuff out there, you need to expect some criticism. As someone who wishes to specialise in the documentary photography, I'm far more used to the idea of putting a camera on someone else, telling a story. What's mine was yours. Okay, look at Polaroids. My work is a study of the importance of the audience in the music genre known as hardcore, the mosh pit. Oliver Johnson. He didn't say the mosh pit, I'm just saying that. What about the identities of these people? I'd like to see some portraits. Maybe you've got them. This is just showing the backs of people. Okay. Luke James Barter, chaos existing, a phase space. Chaos is an entity they are unable to see or comprehend. Chris James, ruins. Ruins is a body work focused on abandoned derelict buildings around the world. Okay. The installation lets you experience art, so it's part of an installation. Okay, so there's an insight to some of the photography work. This is how you would get in touch with them. If you want to get in touch with any of them, I'll hold this there, and then I could copy that. Yeah. I thought this was good. I like the feel of it. Seems like a decent university. I know people who've gone there. Yeah, some of the work was strong. Some of it was really interesting. Some of it was very abstract. Sometimes I criticise photographers' choice of imagery when they're trying to explain what they do. And I look at some work and I wonder, do they actually understand how the technical side works to taking a picture when you want to deliver a message? And a couple of shots in there, there didn't seem to be any technical understanding. There's the concept, the context is quite in-depth and deep, and there's lots of words. Maybe they're not photographers, maybe they're writers or creative artists who deal in video, and the photography was just a way of illustrating the shots. But if you're going to deliver a message, especially in photography, understand exposure, f-stop, shutter speed, composition, angle of view, and the design elements. Thank you. For BA Honours Photography, University of Portsmouth, great stuff, some good stuff in there. Thank you.